Today I'm joined by Stephanie Harding, known to many as Stef. She is deeply committed to her work at the charity Vision Support, where she helps people navigate the challenges of sight loss with independence. When she's not advocating for others, Steph is usually embracing the open road in her campervan or running her side hustle, Wild and Free with SJ. We're diving into her journey from adventure seeker to advocate and the vital work being done at Vision Support today.
Hi Steph. So you're an advocate, business owner and adventurer. How does your role at Vision Support and your adventure with Wild and Free with SJ feed into each other?
Well, we know from meeting each other that I'm a people person.
Yeah.
I love meeting new people, having those conversations and just finding a little bit more about them.
Yeah.
And I feel like, my role within the charity is to build relationships with businesses, communities, to manage to build relationships with people. And I've always been like a people person.
Yeah.
So the outdoors is the way that I would manage like the everyday stresses, I think.
Can you tell me a little bit about your business then? Let's get into that.
Right, so there's been an idea in my head for
Yeah.
a really long time, probably about 5 years. And I think, as with anyone, generating that idea into something can take a while.
Yeah, it's
I think
hard.
that although, like I said, we're here having this conversation and we've met and we've clicked, sometimes self-confidence and personal confidence can take a while to do. I've really been working towards this goal probably for about the past 2 years on quite a serious level. As in, I booked my mountain leader training and completed that in May of last year.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. And it was hard, but it was really it was just such an enjoyable experience. I really love the outdoors, and I feel like, I just love like I said, I love the outdoors, and I just felt really, although it was difficult, I just really enjoyed being out in the mountains. And we did we did a wild camp as well over 2 days, so we did an expedition, and I met so many other people that enjoy the outdoors and share that passion. And then so the idea with the training, so there's 2 things to become a mountain leader. So you have you do your mountain leader training, and then you have a consolidation period, and then you work towards your assessment. And your assessment is putting all the skills that you've learned in your training on the syllabus.
Wow, a lot goes into that then. I didn't even know that.
No, neither did I.
Yeah.
Neither did I. I love the outdoors. I love the mountains, and that's where I kind of feel at home. And I've been on loads of other people's kind of walks, both in hill and moorland and in mountainous terrain. And I thought, I love people and I want to bring people together.
It's so lovely.
And to create safe spaces for people to come and be social. And I thought I'd just put the 2 together, and then that's where kind of Wild and Free comes into it. But Wild and Free in particular, I'm looking at building a women's outdoor community.
Wow.
To provide outdoor activities for women to come together to feel safe and empowered in the outdoors.
That's amazing.
I feel like I feel like as someone that lives on my own, or I said I'm very social. I love meeting people. I would go out and I would go and watch the sunset or watch the sunrise, or go off and do all these things. But a lot of the time I would be doing it on my own.
How does that feel, like when you do things by yourself, if you don't mind me asking?
So, well, I love it. I'm quite well rehearsed now.
Yeah.
But the reason why I would do stuff on my own, or kind of got this confidence, is because, everyone's busy, aren't they? Life's busy. You've got a job. You've got family, friends. You've got commitments. You're going to the gym. You're trying to cope with the everyday, and the outdoors is me coping with the everyday. But I'm probably quite unique in the fact that how many people can you ask to get up at 1 o'clock in the morning and go and watch the sunrise? I'm that person.
I love that.
I'm that person where what better way to start the day?
Yeah.
And I feel like I've sort of done a lot, you know, I do that quite on my own, and there must be some other people out there who also enjoy the outdoors. And I would love to, yeah, to find them. And I feel like I didn't really realise how much, from a naive perspective, but I definitely think when you start working towards something, or when you look at it from a professional perspective as opposed to a hobby, and then you start looking at you know, qualifications and things, there's a lot more that goes into it. There's a lot of like
Definitely.
kind of said like the safety aspect, and you know, just really, you know, being prepared for all eventualities, and making sure that everyone is like, so you know, you're accountable for yourself when you're out on your own. When you're in a group and you're the leader, you're accountable for everyone else.
Pressure's on you there, really, isn't it? Because you've got everybody else's lives in your hands.
Yeah, but then you can overthink that, and then
Yeah.
you can think, oh, am I good enough for this? Oh, can I do this? And all of these different things. But you kind of have to just bring it back to your, yeah, you want to meet other like-minded women who enjoy the outdoors.
Yeah.
And like I said, that kind of confidence piece, or how do you feel about going out on your own? Some people don't feel safe in the outdoors. I mean, I kind of, you know, I have my little local spots where I go to, or I have my little places that I would go, but I'm not sharing that on social media. As a, like I said, as a, you know, sometimes when you go out on your own, you do have to consider that, you know, being safe and how you can be safe on your own. And I think one of those things is not sharing your location on social media. And I feel like it's quite important to make sure that, you know, when people, there's like van life is, you know, it's blew up, hasn't it? Like everyone, you know,
It's really popular at the moment. Everyone seems to want a camper van.
Everyone seems to want a camper
Yeah.
van. You know, there's lots of little like hidden spots that I would now go to, which would be quite remote. There's kind of, you know, they're not as quiet because of like Instagram and hidden gems and stuff. You know, those kind of experiences that before social media no one would know about. Those locations are now shared. So I think you kind of have to, yeah, just be mindful of your own safety and what you're sharing on social media and when.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a way that you can kind of say, like I said, be safe in the outdoors. Sharing your location with someone that you trust.
Yeah.
Making sure that you've got phone battery.
See, you wouldn't think about all this, but there is a lot that goes into it. Because and especially safety is a major thing, because you've got to feel safe. And do you have, so before you go out in your camper van then, do you have like a list or anything that you follow, or do you just
No.
you just go for it?
So I don't, but what I will do is that if I'm going away in my camper van, like I said, on a kind of on a trip, maybe up to Scotland, which is where I like to go, then and the more that you do it, the easier that it is. But I would probably plan the itinerary, so I'd roughly know where. Well, to begin with, I would, before I went, I planned campsites religiously. I would work out the mileage in between each place that I was going to, but so that I could really be strategic with my time, and so that I could work out, so I could feel safe.
Yes.
Knowing where you're going.
It's like a safety blanket, isn't it?
Is to feel safe.
Yeah.
And then what I've realised is that Scotland have got like the right to roam, so you don't necessarily have to stay on campsites. You can, and there's lots of like different pull-ins or little spots that you can go to. You don't have to always be on a campsite, which obviously then saves money, because campsites can be expensive. Like I said, if you're booking one every night, you know, then that trip can
what do you
become quite
prefer?
expensive.
Do you prefer being out in the wild or on like a campsite, or do you like both?
No, definitely out in the wild. Yeah. Definitely remote. Definitely remote. But then also as well, sometimes you'll meet other people who are doing the same thing. So in terms of thinking about it, I did have quite a rigid plan, or when I go away I would kind of look at stuff, but now I kind of keep it quite loose. But I think it's always a good idea to, like, well, from a time perspective, like from here to Scotland, you know, you're talking like between 6 and 8 hours, so you've lost 2 days out of your trip already. So then, and then, you know, Scotland's a big place, so you have to kind of just work out I didn't want to do more than like 100 miles a day, because otherwise you're just spending all the time in the van and you're not exploring anything. So I kind of worked it out so that I knew where I wanted to go. And then that was how I first started it. Now I don't do that at all. I went up to Scotland last year with no idea, and I was just going to wing it. So and as I was driving up to Scotland, I messaged someone that I know that's got a van and moved up there, and I just voice noted them, and I was just like, I'm on my way up to Scotland. Where should I go? And then he was like,
That's really brave of you to do that, because some people would find that really difficult.
and
So,
I think, and I think people, if it was I wouldn't have done that like 5 years ago, but we're 5 years in. This would be like
comes with experience, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think this would probably be I'm not very good at counting stuff, but I've been up to Scotland probably about 8 times.
Wow.
Some of them on my own, some of them I've met other people, and having the freedom of not being locked in to a schedule. And then actually, that was my most favourite trip. And it was unplanned, and I met so many nice people.
It's spontaneous, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they're the best trips, I always say. Like, just, go with the flow.
But it's also really hard to go with the flow when everything's always so structured.
Yes.
And I feel like you can also feel it's nice to go with the flow, but then sometimes you feel like you're missing out on stuff.
Yeah.
But actually, that trip, I did everything that I wanted to do just without realising it.
That's amazing. So how does the freedom of your camper van help you like recharge from everyday life? So, with the charity stuff as well.
So my job is quite intense and it's quite hard. As with any job, like I said, it's not just mine. It's one of those where you've got to keep moving forward. You've got to keep finding solutions. If someone says, oh no, that's not for me, or I'm not interested, then you just kind of have to move on, and you have to keep going forward. It's one of those things where you've got to keep pushing forward, because you need to find the people that are are able to support you. And I do believe that the right people will always come to you. Like, I do believe that. But that can be quite difficult sometimes. Like I said, thinking about the wins, and you have to kind of, not every day is a good day, I think, and you just have to kind of think, well, what have I done today that's been successful, and am I holding myself accountable too much? Like, am I trying to do 1,000 things at once and feel like I've underachieved when actually I've done really well?
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes you're too hard on yourself, and in a job where, how do you measure success when you get told no, or it doesn't always work out? You have to really reevaluate that, and maybe not hold yourself, again, with that kind of freedom aspect, too accountable on being perfect. And if you don't get the outcome that you want, that's because something better is coming.
I love this. You're inspirational, aren't you?
So but
it's great.
But you really have to be driven and motivated to, like, I'm quite solution focused, because, and I think I've always been it. I think it's from previous, like, I don't know if it's from previous roles, or like, I'm just quite motivated and I want to do well. And I feel like if something doesn't work out, then go and find something else. Like, you've got to keep like moving forward. And someone once asked me, like, why are you so driven? And I was like, I don't know. I want to do well. Like, I think it's been instilled in me, like from a young age, that working hard is important, and wanting to do what I hold value to is doing a good job, being a good person, being kind. And I think when you truly, like I said, look at your values and you like work towards those, then naturally, like, the right people will find you.
Definitely.
And that, yes, things are hard work, but they're also fun as well.
So is that what got you into the charity then?
Yeah, so previous to working for Vision Support, I was in the corporate world.
That's a big difference.
Yeah, a big difference. And again, and it goes back to that kind of working hard and kind of, quite driven and motivated. And I was in the corporate world, and, I was, in a quite a demanding job. And then I kind of just started thinking, what else can I put my time into? Where else can I go? What other causes can I work for to work hard, where there's going to be and a nicer outcome.
Yeah.
And I think working for Vision Support, you definitely see that. And yeah, I think sometimes you don't get a lot of time, or like I said, sometimes things can happen where your life might get turned upside down, but it's all for good.
Yeah.
There was something where I experienced the loss of my dad back in May 2021.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. And it changed my life. Like it's it's really, like I said, it's something that I still think about quite often, and losing someone is really hard, because I think that grief doesn't go away.
Yeah.
But I also think it gives you a new perspective, and that time is your biggest currency, because someone said something once, and it was like, today you are the youngest you'll ever be.
It's true.
And we all take like our time for granted. I feel like we're all rushing around, and I feel like I'm the same. Like I said, I like to fill my time quite consistently because of that kind of wanting to do a good job, and wanting to be busy, and wanting to work hard, and all of those different things. And I feel like, sometimes you've got to think, well, what do I hold value in?
Yeah.
And I feel like, as someone who's quite driven and motivated, I then started looking at, well, what is important to me? What do I want to do? Who do I want to work for? And I kind of, like, those questions kind of came about. And then that's when I kind of moved into the charity sector, and started working for Vision Support. And honestly, it's been the charity is such a great charity to work for, and we do amazing things every day. We support like local people, and we are changing lives, and I feel like it's just nice to be part of something that's like really meaningful. And when you are said quite naturally and driven for reasons I don't know, but it's nice to be able to put that energy into something worthwhile.
That's so lovely.
And it's really nice. And like Vision Support this year, we're turning 150.
Wow.
We've been supporting the local community for 150 years. And it's a huge milestone within any organisation. Like that's
Incredible, that though.
that's that's quite a legacy that that
Definitely.
we've created.
Are you doing any celebrations for that?
And well, that's what hopefully this podcast is going to help me with.
Yeah.
So as we turn 150, we've got a couple of different things going on. Like, I'm looking for people to get involved with an initiative that we've got at the moment called Club 150. So it's a year-long campaign where we're looking for people to support us as a local charity. But what I'm finding is like the 150, that's a big number.
Yes.
And it's quite scary. Like, I think people are a little bit put off. They're like, well, what do I need that's like 150? And do you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking like, how can I do it so that it's like said, so that everyone can get involved? I really want as many people to be supporting us as we can. Like I said, we support a lot of people, and it would be lovely for people to be talking about Vision Support and sharing that message of what we do. And I feel like, with Club 150, like I said, I think people are a little bit off by that Club 150. So I think, thinking about it in another way, what if you did any challenge? Like, it's quite a that's the other thing as well, it's quite broad. So say, what if you raise 150 quid? And then people are like, 150 quid is quite a lot of money. And then you think, do you know 10 people that would sponsor you £15? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
sometimes if you break things down,
people don't think about that though,
no,
do they? No.
And that's it. And like I said, when you're thinking about a solution or
Yeah.
how you're going to get there, you can kind of work things out. So we've got a couple of people that are doing things. We've got Jess, who's the triage. What's her role? Jess from Vision Support. You'll have to cut that back because I don't know what her role is.
It's fine.
But she's reading 150 hours of her book.
Oh, wow.
And I think as well, sometimes that people find fundraising quite scary, and they're like,
Puts people off sometimes, but I don't know why.
Well, I agree. Like, it's my job and I don't like asking people for money.
Yeah.
And I feel like you've just got to reframe the question and you've got to share the message of either what your challenge is or why should people, or, you know, what the challenge is, why should people support you, or what it is that Vision Support do. And I feel like if you can
Yeah.
share that message with people, then if they want to support you, they will. And if they don't want to support you, that's absolutely fine. And I feel like sometimes it can be scary to ask people for money. I don't feel like that's the best way to approach fundraising. I feel like like life is all about people and stories, and everyone's got a story to tell. And people that fundraise, that have previously fundraised for Vision Support, have all got their own stories or reasons why they want to support us as a charity. And I feel like that's the best way to share that with people, and that's the best way, because I do believe that the right people will find you.
Definitely.
And that there's lots of charities out there and every single one is valid. And I feel like yeah, you've just got to find the right people, and I feel like the right people will find you.
Definitely.
And that, yeah, like it makes me think actually of someone called a couple of people that have supported us, and yeah, I'll have to send you the link because there's actually, we've got a video of it.
Okay. We could put that in the description if you want.
Yeah, we've got the video as well, but there's so as part of what Vision Support do is that we support people so that no one faces sight loss alone. And when I think about that messaging and I think about people that I've met, it makes me think of someone called Tony. So part of what their Vision Support does is that we support people so that no one faces sight loss alone.
Yeah.
When people get a diagnosis, they often feel quite scared, isolated and lonely. And we're there to...
Sorry, that threw me then. So people feel...
feel, alone, isolated, and a little bit hopeless. And, we're there to support people so that they do feel like, we provide different services. And I've seen that. So there's a guy
so
called
rewarding.
Tony. So Tony experienced a stroke. I think it was back in 2019, and he lost sight in his one eye, which then unfortunately meant he lost a level of vision in both of his eyes. So he went from a normal everyday life to suddenly all of his independence being lost overnight. Like well, I don't know if it was overnight, but it was certainly over quite a it was a shock and it was unexpected. And that's quite, I spoke to Tony and he was like that, it was quite a difficult period in his life.
Changes your life, doesn't it?
Yeah,
you see the world, don't you? And then it gets taken away from you.
Yeah, and and because I can't. So, but the how I met Tony, so that was how he kind of came into contact with Vision Support. But how I met Tony was, he goes to the Brio Leisure Centre, Baths. I think it's in Northwich, and him and Jean were looking at doing a fundraiser to give back to Vision Support.
Yeah.
So we provide sessions for people at Brio Leisure, people who get supported by the charity, and they can come and swim and feel safe to swim. Because I think when you have a vision impairment, that it can be, like I said, it's quite scary.
That'd be really overwhelming.
Yeah, it's quite an overwhelming experience.
You don't know what's going on around. It's all... It must be quite terrifying, actually, thinking about that.
You've really got to trust other people.
Yeah.
And one of the things that they wanted to give back is that they wanted to do a fundraiser. Oh. And so Jean and Tony, they did a fundraise for us last October. So Jean's got a vision impairment and Tony's got a vision impairment, and between them they raised over £1,600.
Wow.
And they swam. They absolutely smashed their target. So I think Jean did 10 miles.
It's amazing.
And I think Tony Tony doubled what he did. So he, like I said, after experiencing a stroke and things, and enjoying, like I said, enjoying swimming and stuff, he wanted to take on a challenge, and in part of that process, I think what people don't realise is when you actually start fundraising or you take on a difficult challenge, and that you are supporting someone, you are supporting a good cause and you're giving back, you actually get quite a lot out of it. And to hear, like I said, to hear Tony, I said, how did you get on with fundraising? Because before he started the challenge, we were kind of, like I said, we kind of talked about what he wanted to do, because it's very much, like I said, it's kind of one of those where you want to push yourself but not too far, and I think there's a fine line between that, and you need to, everyone needs to take care of themselves and not push yourself too much so that you're in danger. And he really enjoyed the swimming challenge whilst he was doing it, and he actually doubled the distance.
Wow.
Which is amazing. So to think about, Tony and how much he's been supported by Vision Support, and that he felt lonely and isolated when he first lost his sight, and he was supported through us through like counselling, and going to we offer gym sessions, and then going to the swimming pool, to now 5 years later,
Incredible, isn't it?
taking on a massive swimming challenge, and then not only doing that but actually doubling what he thought he could achieve.
Incredible.
And that's like, like I said, it's amazing that the amount of money that Vision Support, that people were able to give to Jean and Tony in that. But to listen to Tony after the challenge and going through that process with, like I said, going through that process, or it's relationship building, and I would say, how are you getting on, what did you think about it? And he was like, I've raised £1,600, and him and Jean, and I was like, it's amazing. I was like, but how do you feel? And he was just like, I'm really pleased with myself.
Lovely.
And then he's going to continue the swimming on. So actually, something that you think is a one-off, then becomes part. It kind of gets integrated into your life.
Amazing. What a lovely story.
Yeah, so it's like I said, it's really nice. And then Jean, she is doing another swimming challenge for us, actually, and she's going to be part of the Club 150.
Oh, lovely.
And one of the things that Jean said, because I said, what does Vision Support mean to you? And she said, Vision Support is like part of my family.
Oh, that's what it's
and
all
I
about,
just
isn't
think, what an amazing, what the good work that Vision Support does, if that's how she's welcomed us into her life. It's
Do you think
really nice.
you'll always be working for the charity then, or do you think? How do you? I don't know.
I feel like for me, I'm like I said, I'm just someone that I don't know. Like, it's hard. What would I say that I am? I'm someone that likes to support people.
Yeah.
I like other people to feel good. I want other people. I like to do good as well. And I feel like when you
see that, yeah,
when you work within like the charity sector, and you see that. So I've seen me going to work every day, where actually I've not really had to do much for that, because I've just said, right, they're like, oh, we're going to do a fundraising challenge. I was like, great, what do you want to do? And they're like, we're going to do a swimming challenge. I was like, great, I'll help you set up your pages. If you need any help with fundraising, like I said, don't feel fundraising is one of those things where you're like, please sponsor me and all of these, just take it. As said,
people put a lot of pressure on themselves to do it as well,
Yeah.
don't they? And it should just be more free and just not
and,
so.
And kind of having that, and so not to put the pressure on ourselves. And I think we're all guilty of putting pressure on ourselves every day. And I think, with fundraising and money and, all of the things that are going on, it can be quite difficult for people to be in a position to give as well. And I think, there's lots of kind of regulations around that. But if you can just share your story, then the right people will find you. And And I think that's kind of, like I said, probably the key, like I said, the key message and stuff like for fundraising is that it's supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
And it always should be fun. And I think that life should be fun as well. And that the kind of the creativity that you can get through fundraising. So let's say we've got this Club 150, and the Club 150 is around vision support and celebrating 150 years of us supporting the local community, of supporting people so that no one deals with sight loss alone, and that if you do support us as a charity, then that's who you're helping. You're helping people like Tony, and and it's being able to share. I think also when people that have donated to that money, where that then goes to,
Yeah.
and being able to say, right, well, this is who we've supported in the local area. And I think that's also really important as well, because I think being able to share like the good work that people have done, and then they've also had fun along the way, and like you've donated £10, right, well that £10, this is
Makes
what
a
we're
big difference,
providing,
doesn't it?
and that everyone's kind of immersed, like I said, in their everyday life, or there's a lot going on with work and everyone's busy. You can't, if you donate £10, then you're doing a good thing.
Yeah.
If you want to take on a challenge that's gonna raise money for the charity, but also it's gonna take you on a journey.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people don't realize when they kind of start stuff like that, is that where that might go to and what that might lead to.
Yeah.
And like I said, because there's a lot of kind of pressure, but it's just reframing that with fundraising. And like I said, it should always be fun. Like, I'm not really a serious person. And I feel like you shouldn't take life so seriously.
Yeah.
I feel like, yes, there's loads of things to be serious about, but there's also loads of reasons to have fun.
Definitely. Yeah. Oh, it's so lovely to hear this, though.
Yeah. And I feel like that's probably what like vision support has kind of given me. It's given me that kind of, it's being able to have fun. Like,
Yeah.
how many people can say that they have a great time at work?
That's amazing. So you've had all the positive and the good, but I am going to ask, it must be hard some days as well working for the charity, in the sense of you deal with some really hard cases, like some of the clients that you meet and their stories. Does that have an impact on you?
I think because we are there to support them,
Yeah.
and to take and to kind of be there, kind of in their darkest moments. I feel like I know that we are having a positive impact, and that's on a daily basis. That's by people who go out and sit in, home visiting, and the social groups, and the gym sessions, and the swimming, and all of these different things that are happening on a daily basis mean so much to people. And that and that it means so much to people, and that on a daily basis we are, like I said, changing people's lives. And I feel like because I talk so much, like I've met so many of these people, so I know, because I've talked to them. And I feel like yes, the job is hard. Yes, you don't always get like your expected outcome of things, and that it's not always a yes, it's a lot of no's.
How do you deal with that?
As anyone deals with their like daily stresses of work, that you kind of think, okay, that's fine, I'm going to move on, I'm going to do something else. But I think it's the work-life balance. I think that's really important, and that it can be that you've got to be careful that in a job where you've got to keep moving forward, and you do get told no a lot, or things don't work out, like within the charity sector and within the especially within fundraising, not everything works, like but that's, like I said, with it, that's okay. Like, that's fine that everything doesn't work. And I think sometimes we really hold ourselves accountable, like, oh well, and you can really get immersed in, oh well, that's not worked. You just have to think of a solution, but also as well, you have to leave work and think, okay, I'll think of a solution tomorrow. And I think you need to have like time boundaries.
The switch off, isn't it?
The switch off. And the way that I would do that is by going for a walk outside, going to the gym, going swimming.
The camper van.
Going running. But then that's the other side of things. Like the camper van, that's kind of weekends and, you know, when you're on holiday, you really need to find the
Yes.
everyday moments that are going to see you through the next day. And that probably for me is kind of, like I would say exercise, like just, and also sometimes just going for a walk and being outside in nature. It's amazing how if you're having a stressful day, just going outside and just going on a little 10-minute walk.
Resets your brain, doesn't it, a bit?
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like a lot of us don't do that.
No, you don't.
And
hold my hands up. I'm bad at that, and I'm trying to put boundaries into place as well.
yeah, and it gives you a new perspective then,
Yeah.
and sometimes you have to kind of leave stuff and then go back to it.
Mhm.
And I feel like it's really important that you do have boundaries. Certainly within work, like I said, within work. You know, and you want to do a job and, you know, you really want to do well. And, you know, you've got, because people are relying on you or because, you know, you're making such a difference, that can then also lead to overworking
Yes.
and like burning yourself out as well, because you want to do a job. So there's two sides to be driven and motivated. And I feel like that's
Finding
really
the right
important.
balance. It's hard to do
And
that.
it's really hard. And I'm
Yeah.
34 and I'm still struggling with
Yeah.
that. But I think it's understanding that what you don't do today can get done tomorrow.
Yeah.
And if something happens, that's fine. Just reschedule stuff. And I feel like we just hold ourselves like so highly.
I do this all the time myself. So yeah.
And that you get yourself into a little stress and you're thinking that you've not achieved everything. And I feel like
it's not the end of the world though, is
No.
it? When it comes down to it,
Stop.
it really isn't.
Stop trying to control everything.
Yes. And that's what it is. It's control, and it's because you're out of control in the situation, isn't it? So it needs.
But you're out of control anyway.
Yeah.
Because it's not up to you what happens.
It's true.
So you just have to let it go and make sure that you are taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
And because I feel like, you know, you have to take care of yourself because no one else is going to, and you know how you feel, and you have got intuition, and that it's important to kind of take a break and take a step back because tomorrow will be another day, or if you come back to that next week you might have a new idea. And I feel like sometimes we just get too immersed in what's going on and we don't think, let's just take a step back.
So we always feel like we have to get something done straight away.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like I'm really bad for, like, just say I don't know, we have a new client and I'm like, oh, I need to sign, you know, get their contract written up straight away. I need to send that over, and I'm like,
do it now.
does it matter? Like
No.
if it's a week, like just do it when you can do it.
And that's the thing. And I think because there's a lot of admin and you get excited because it means something to you, and you know
when it's your
you
business
want to help,
or something, it's
or you want to help someone, or you're excited about it, you do get excited, like, I want to do it now, but actually you're like, well, I've got about 5,000 other things to do, and yes, I want to do this, but let's just structure that in for another day. And I feel like what I've certainly learn within, you know, working for the charity within my role, is that I do go out and I meet a lot of people and I go to a lot of networking events, is that kind of the admin and stuff that's behind it. And that, you know, what goes into an event, and that you turn up on the day and you have a lovely time, but actually I've been working on that for 3 months.
People don't know though, do they? It's so it's hard because they don't know what goes on behind the scenes.
And also as well, what I would say is that when you do an event, is that you've got to keep talking about it. You've got to keep talking about it so that people know that it's happening.
Yeah, be persistent, isn't it?
Yeah, and I feel like I found something out the other day where it's I was on some training and they said that events people usually book in the last 2 weeks, which is not helpful if you're trying to like plan an event, but you know that information, so you need to use that, and you need to think, right, well, let's get into the marketing strategy that 2 weeks before, this is when we're going to contact people. But also as well, thinking, okay, well, how do I, and just planning for that, and, you know, thinking about who do you know, and that's the biggest thing I think about networking, or within networking, is who do you know? You might know someone that can help you.
Yeah.
And you never know who you're going to meet, and you never know what they know. So like I've met someone who you should get on this podcast actually. So Abby, so she has started her own coffee roasting business.
Oh wow.
in Wrexham.
That'd be interesting, yeah.
And her coffee is really nice.
If she's watching this,
yeah.
messages.
And she's someone that I met, and I was just talking to her about my business, because
Yeah.
obviously she's I've just launched my business, and she's launched hers a couple of months ago. Not like, completely new to the business sector, like I've always been employed. So this self-employed journey, there's a lot to learn, and I think you need to be supportive on other people.
Definitely.
And I was just chatting through to her, and I said, I've just put all my business pages up. I'd really appreciate it if you'd help me. And then we were talking about coffee bags. So Campervan. I love coffee. Everyone loves coffee, but I love but obviously there's a faff to it, isn't there? So coffee bags, they're good for camping, like I said, just normal camping as well. Coffee bags, like proper coffee in a coffee bag. And I've asked her a couple of times. I was like, if you can get these coffee bags, I was like, I know loads of people that we all go away.
I use
Coffee's
them
a
as
big
well.
thing. They're much easier,
they are.
aren't they?
I think yours was today, but
And so I said to her, like, how are you getting on with them? And then she was just like, oh, they're quite expensive. Well, I'm looking and having a conversation with someone over in Ireland about importing them.
Well,
I was like, well, I used to do export imports for Ireland and for Europe. I was like, I know a few
amazing.
different companies, and I know the process. So if you need help or support on that, let me know. And I just feel like she wouldn't have known that
if you hadn't had that conversation.
If we hadn't had that conversation.
Yeah.
And she was like, okay, I'll let you know how it goes. Because I've got
That's amazing.
inside knowledge on stuff.
You don't know that until you start. It's like us. I didn't know all this about you today. Like we've sat down, we've met once, we spoke a few times on the phone, but you don't know this unless you actually chat and have the conversations. It's incredible.
And I think that's it really, isn't it? Like I said, as you meet people and you build relationships, it is kind of like sharing the stories, and probably I would say being a little bit vulnerable. I think that's another thing that probably a good thing and a bad thing, so because I think sometimes you can talk too much. You need to have boundaries, but it's nice to meet other people, and I've met so many nice people within within this role at Vision Support, and I think about how I can help them. Lovely. So, I'm a charity. I work for a charity, work for Vision Support, and I have a job to do and I have a role. But also I think it's important to help others. And I think sometimes you never know who you know that might need some help and how you can help them.
No, it's true.
And I think that's kind of the power of kind of networking and working together.
Have you ever doubted the impact that you're making? Just out of interest, like...
Sometimes, like I said, you kind of feel like you've not achieved anything, and then you have to kind of reframe it or think about, well, what have I achieved today? Or if that's not worked out, I think sometimes I think you kind of have your heart set on something, or you think, yeah, that's great, it's going to work out, and then it doesn't, and then you're like, isn't it? Oh, I spent loads of time on that, and that's not worked out, and then you're like, but it's natural to have highs and lows. And I think we're going back to that, you hold yourself so accountable, and when you are driven and motivated and you want solutions, sometimes you're not going to get them.
It's true.
And you really have to say that's okay, and that kind of taking that step back and being really reflective. I think that's to, like, say, if you doubt yourself, they always say, don't they, that nothing's ever, like I said, you can always, if you learn from something, then it's never a mistake.
Yes, it's true.
And I feel like as this this job has evolved, and as I've evolved with certain things, I feel like that you've really got to really think about the wins, and you've got to think about the wins every day, because not every day is going to be successful. So you've got to really take, like, okay, well, what have I achieved today? I haven't done the 1 million things that I put on my to-do list, but what have I done that's gone well?
You're so positive and bubbly. It's so lovely, and that's contagious as well. And that's why you're I bet you're amazing at your role.
Oh, thank you. No, and I feel like say, energy is energy, like I said, and I feel like I'm a little ball of energy, and I don't know why. Like I said, it just
see it though. You're glowing.
Yeah,
and when you talk about it, the passion, it just oozes out of you.
I think that's what it is. I think I'm just a passionate person, and I want to help people, and I like meeting people, and I like listening to other people's stories. And I always think, how can we help each other? Like, I think when you go into any kind of business conversation or with any relationship,
That's
it's
how it should
definitely
be.
two ways, isn't
Yeah.
it? And it's that kind of, and that's how you build relationships
Yeah.
with people. And then that's how, things work out. And I always do believe as well, I think that kind of positivity, and, everyone is not positive all the time. But I think sometimes when stuff doesn't work out, you just have to say to yourself, something better's coming. And you just really have to believe and trust
Yeah,
in
exactly.
the process.
I always say it's better an ups than a what if.
And trust in that process, and not try and try and control stuff, which is so much easier said than done. But that's where you've got to be reflective, and that you've got to evolve and see every business opportunity or sit every conversation as what can you learn. And if you do that, then like, if you're always learning, then you're not going to go in the wrong direction, are you?
Yeah. So what are you most excited about, with the campervan stuff and with vision support?
So it's funny that you say about the campervan stuff, but probably by the time this goes out, it's going to be fixed.
Oh.
So my campervan is currently in the garage.
Oh no, he's poorly. Is it a
And
he, she? Because some
I
people do.
don't-
Oh, is
I
it?
I don't have a name for it. I know this is really bad, but I don't have a name for my campervan, just because it's like, I don't know. I think, again, I don't know what to call it. Like, sometimes you would name it
Yeah.
within like the registration, but the registration starts with an X. Like, how many names do you know starts with an X?
Yeah, it's interesting.
And then it's like,
I'll have to ask the viewers if anyone can think of a name. Put it in the comments.
Yeah, I know. And I've literally, so it's unnamed. But yeah, so I don't really have a name for it, no. But it's in the garage at the moment. So I actually broke down in the Lake District.
Oh no.
When was that? A good few weeks ago, which was another experience in itself. Because again, a female on your own.
Yeah.
I broke down in the campervan a few times. I mean, I've had it for nearly 5 years now. So, and it is, like I said, it's 23 years old. So.
Do you ever get panicked about that when you're in that situation, or how do you cope?
Well,
You just get on with it, I bet.
It depends where I am.
Yeah.
So I was up in the Lake District with no signal, and luckily, there was this really lovely lady actually, and she lent me a phone. She said that I could stay. Like, she said I could. She lived in the pub. She said I could stay there.
Oh.
She kept the pub open until they picked me up. I had no signal, so I was borrowing a phone, and it was a really unpleasant experience actually, and it's the first time that I've had quite an unpleasant experience.
Because that could put people off. Like, it could have put you off actually going back out in your van doing that.
Well, it's not been fixed yet, so we haven't had that chance. But it was, and just as I say, the kindness of people, and she went above and beyond. I was actually up in the lakes, and I was with a walking group, and one of them stayed and and waited until I got picked up.
Oh, that's lovely.
And I feel like it's in those moments, it's the kindness of others that gets you through.
Yeah.
And I think if it wasn't for all of those people, then I would have been panicking. I was on my own in the middle of nowhere with no signal, with no way to contact anyone. If no one was to help me, then I really would be stuck.
Yeah.
But luckily, the kindness of others got me through that. And then on reflection, it was like, okay, they didn't come. Like, it was like, I won't get into it too much because otherwise no one will ever do a campervan. But there's other situations where I've broken down. So I was going to Snowdonia, that was it, and like Friday night. So I was like, chuck the stuff in the van, like, let's go. We live like an hour and a half, 2 hours from Snowdonia, so it's quite close to me, and it's where I would spend most of my time on the weekends. And then I got to like Betsycoid, and like the battery light was coming on. I was like, that's weird, I don't know. And I have a little bit of a chance with this. So I was like, well, I need to get to my destination. I don't really know what the battery thing is. I was literally like 15 minutes away.
Yeah.
I was like, we'll give it a go. So I pulled over and I was like, well, what is it? And I was like, oh, I don't know. So I was like, I really wanted to go up a mountain. So I just got to the destination. Luckily it made it there. And then I also had no signal, but I knew I was going to do something, so I did it anyway. And this is probably where I should think more about things.
You're determined.
But I was determined, like driven and motivated. I was determined that that's what I was going to do. And I knew that I would just get collected the next day.
Fair dues.
So I drove to Snowdonia, parked it up, and I thought, well, I don't need to move now. I was going up for a sunrise. So parked up, went up and you know, I can't remember what I did now, but I went up some mountain, and then when I'd finished, there was actually a race on, and because there was no signal where I was again, but this was like in the summer, so it was fine, and there was people around, and there was a race on, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to go and find some signal. So I was like walking up this hill to go and find some signal, because I was like, well, I'll just ring him and it'll be fine. Like, again, thinking about it from a
You're
an
so
uncon-
positive, aren't
but-
you? You
but-
just like go with the flow.
but then, because when you are on your
Yeah.
own, what can you do?
Yeah.
You can panic, and then what? Oh, you're still on your own.
It's not going to change the outcome, is it?
You know, you've still got to find and this is probably where that solution comes from. And like I said, being on your own and van life, and you know,
Changes you as a person, doesn't it?
thinking about, right, well, it's just you. So what is the outcome? What is the desired outcome? Where do you need to go?
You make me want to go and get a van now and go off on my escape.
I know. So then I was like, right, so I got on this hill. I was like, oh. Then I found the number, and I was like, I've got no pen to write it. What am I going to do? Luckily, there was a race on. So I was like, sorry, like someone was running past. I said, excuse me, sorry, could you just help me a minute? I said, could you just write this number down? I said, I've broken down. I've got no signal. I need to call the recovery company. So I was like, yeah, that's fine. So again, the kindness of strangers. So they got the number for me.
Oh.
And then I was able to ring the recovery company, which always takes ages. And I'm like, I was like, you haven't got an so they were like, oh, it sounds like the alternator. I said, well, unless you've got an alternator for a transporter at the garage, just come and pick me up. Because sometimes what they'll do is they'll send someone out, and this is where you get with experience, is they'll send someone out, and then they'll say, oh no, we can't fix it, and then you have to wait even longer for them to send the pickup truck. So I was like, and then they were like googling, oh, sounds like the alternator, and I was like, right, just come and get someone to recover me home. I was like, you're not going to be able to fix it. So no, they didn't. And they do it like to a local garage. So there you're saying you're worrying about like what you're on your own. Well, depending on how far away you are or where you are, when you get recovered, it's usually there's usually people on call.
Yeah.
And it's usually like local to where you are. They'll just get
come and get you and then take you somewhere safe.
They'll come get you, and then they'll take you home or take you safe. So it's it's not that. But you'd only know that from I only know that from experience. So I was like, please don't just come and pick me up. So I got home at so I did that at 6 o'clock in the evening, and by the time I got home it was like midnight.
Long. And when you've just done all that walking and everything, gosh.
But I knew it was going to do that, so at least I had the nice day.
Yeah.
And so that's
and
the
you
positive.
prepared yourself mentally for that, didn't you?
Yeah,
So...
and like I said, and you only know that from experience, and that I think, like you said, you've just got to say, right, well, how are you going to get through this, like I said, and how far away are you from places? And I would say probably with a camper van is, if you are going to remote places, is that it's probably one of the things that I do make sure that I maintain.
Yeah.
There was something the one time as well, like I said, it's, you say you want a camper van, but it depends if you want to have any money or not, because
I was about to say the cost that comes with it as well.
Quite expensive, but I wouldn't be without it, and it's changed my life in so many ways. It's taken me, it's helped me heal from some difficult times in my life. It's like going on holiday every weekend. That's how I would describe it. So obviously.
It's the therapy, it's freedom, it's
you could have had a stressful week, or anything that could have happened in the day. In a few hours' time, you've forgotten all about that because you're somewhere else, and your mind is switched off, and you're thinking, oh, right, where should I go? Oh, what hill should I go up? Oh, what mountain shall I climb? Oh, what's the weather doing tomorrow? And you're resetting all the time. So although they are expensive, I would say having a camper van has absolutely changed my life. And I was speaking about it the other day with someone. Don't feel like you should ever regret anything. So I feel like we're all here for a reason, and everyone meets, and everything happens for a reason. I just regret that I didn't get a camper van sooner. That's my own. I said that would be my only regret, because I've had such a good time, and I don't. Some people do go abroad in it and stuff, but I kind of stick to the UK, although I do like going up to Scotland, and I've done the Outer Hebrides. And last year when I said I just did that trip off the cuff, because I've been to the Isle of Lewis, the Isle of Harris, which is out on the Outer Hebrides, the Isle of Skye. I love the Isle of Skye. I've been there about 5 times.
I want to go there. It looks amazing.
And I've also been over to the Orkney Islands.
Oh, wow.
So that was my first trip away. When I did the
Yeah.
NC 500, I did 1,700 miles because, again, strategically, that was like 1,700 miles over a 2-week period. And then I went up to John O'Groats, which is obviously like the top end of the country, which is like miles from me. And I thought, well, I might as well get a little day trip. So we went on a day trip to the Orkney Islands. And it's like,
wow,
you know, have you even heard of the Orkney Islands? Do you know what I mean? They're really remote. So we went and did that for a day. And then I met loads of other people who were also travelling on their own.
Oh, wow.
And they were travelling on their own. So we're all doing the same thing.
A lot of friends then from doing that.
I think you meet people. Yeah, you definitely meet people along the way. Like I said, when I went to the Isle of Barra last year, which is like, so I live in Oswald Street. So we're like, sometimes when I go to these places, I just go on Google Maps and I like look how far away. I was 12 hours away from Oswald Street. And so I was like, you could get to like Thailand in 12 hours.
Yeah.
And there's me going up to Scotland because, you know, it was quite remote.
Yeah.
And so the people that I met on that experience, that was really lovely as well. That's probably been my best trip to date because the weather was so nice. It was like I was swimming in Loch Lomond. You know, it was
beautiful.
like, it was nearly 30 degrees.
Wow.
And then I got the ferry from Oban across to Barra, which there's only one a day because it's tidal. And then when I was on the ferry, I met two girls. One was from Australia and one was from New Zealand. They were doing the Hebridean Way. So they had bikes and they were wild camping. I was chatting to them. I stood up and they would like the Hebridean Way. So they start on Barra and then they go up through North and South Uist, which is where else I've been, which is part of the Outer Hebrides, and then Harris and Lewis, and then they go back over to Skye. I can't remember how many miles it is. And they were like, have you got any recommendations? Because I'd already been. And I was like, yes. I was like, it's a little bit out the way, but please go to this beach. It's absolutely stunning.
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
It's the community side of it, isn't it?
And that's it. And then I've so then I was like, Instagram and stuff, and then that was it. They were from Edinburgh. And then that was why they were doing the trip, because the one was going off travelling with her partner. So I keep in touch with her and see what she's up to on her Instagram.
Lovely. So you have got friends from it.
Yeah, and you meet people. Like there was a guy when I did my first trip, there was a French guy, and he was biking. I didn't realise he was French, he had like dreadlocks and stuff. And but I seen him, but again, this is people.
Yeah.
I seen him on the Isle of Skye, which is like, you know, a remote little island. And then I was in Glenfinnan where the Harry Potter train is.
Yeah.
I've been over and seen that like loads of times, and it's like, that's normal, but it's not, is it?
No.
To me it is, because I've done it about 5 or 6 times. And so I went up to him and I was like, I'm pretty sure I've seen you on the Isle of Skye. And he was like, and then he was French. So we got chatting. And then obviously, he was doing a tour of Europe for like a year on a bike with a trailer.
Is that by himself?
By himself, yeah.
Oh, incredible.
And that was in 2022. And yeah, like, and I'm still in touch with him now. You know, and because I think you share the similar interests. I think when you start meeting people, again, that kind of meeting people,
it's lovely,
and that kind of scenario, like you said, you share similar interests, or you want to get what you're up to. Life is all about people and experiences, I think, and I think we live in quite a material world where actually what really matters is, like I said, again, going back to your time and time and experiences and people. They are what make things.
What a wonderful life you live, eh? It's so inspirational.
I don't know,
it is.
So you see my garage bill and you might question Campervan. As I said, it's the gearbox, and that's a 4-figure.
Yeah.
I've probably spent as much money on my Campervan as I bought it for,
if
not
goodness.
more. But we won't worry about that, because it's about experiences and it's what it means to me.
Positive side of it.
And it's taken me to places, and it lets me go outside, and it lets me meet new people, which I love, and it takes me to places which isn't normal.
Yeah.
And it's given me the confidence probably to do this job, to talk to you now, and to build my own business.
Well, it's incredible.
And I feel like, and all of that is through kind of experiences and getting yourself out of your comfort zone.
It is amazing.
So if you are thinking about getting one, make sure that, you know, you make sure that you've got about £1 million.
Yeah, you need it in your pocket.
But it is worth it, yeah, and I wouldn't be without it. Like I said, it's those experiences, and now I think if you speak to anyone that's got a camper van, I mean, and you don't have to be new. Like some of these camper vans are like so expensive.
Yeah.
You don't have to have like a new van. You just have to have something that works.
And build it up yourself, can't you?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people do like tent boxes and stuff now, don't they? And you know, that's probably quite a kind of a friend, like I said, a kind of budget friendly way of being able to get out and about, because everyone's got a car.
Yeah.
And a lot of people do like car camping as well now, don't they? Like that's quite a big thing. But I think when you get a camper van, you just don't look back. I think when I bought my camper van, the week before I'd bought a tent. I never used the tent because obviously we got the camper van, and I just feel like I've lived a life of luxury. But this year I want to get into wild camping. So part of the Mountain Leader
I've
stuff.
done that once, and it's quite, yeah.
Well, I don't think it's going to be fun, is it? I mean, who really enjoys it? I mean, all these people on Instagram.
Yeah.
Like, do you enjoy it? I'd rather just get up earlier and save my camper van and get up earlier. But I really want to push.
A bit like
and challenge.
glamping, isn't it?
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
really want to push and challenge myself this year, and that's part of the Mountain Leader training. I will, you know, before you can go for assessment, there's certain elements that you have to hit, and one of them is wild camping, and that's an opportunity for me to challenge myself. I don't know how I feel about it doing it on my own.
I was just about to ask you that. I was going to say,
And
are
I
you going to do
don't-
that by yourself?
It doesn't stipulate in you know, part of, you know, working towards your assessment or what you have to have. So you have to have 8 camps, 4 of which are wild, to be able to, you know, before you go for assessment. So there's a lot that goes into
Yeah.
it. You need a lot of experience before you can go for your assessment, because, you know, being in mountainous terrain, you know, it's not your everyday. It's not a walk in the
Know how
park.
to cope.
You have to be prepared, and you have to be experienced, and part of that is kind of wild camping, because you do like a 3-day expedition. Or is it 2 or 3 day expedition, you know, to qualify.
Does it work a little bit? Sorry, I interrupted it, but like your Duke of Edinburgh stuff and all that kind of, I don't know if you ever did, you know, in school.
I didn't do that.
Did you not? Because I did that. Yeah.
I only found the love of outdoors probably like COVID.
Oh, so later on in life.
So I've always kind of liked the outdoors. When we were in primary school, we went to Arthog. I don't know if that.
I haven't. No.
No,
but-
as I said, so I'm from like a little town in Oswestry.
Okay.
So it's not near any mountains. It's not near the outdoors. And that experience was something that, it was an outdoor centre where you would go in like year 5 or year 6.
We did go. Is it Pentra something? It was so something similar to that. We
There
did
we
go to.
go.
Yeah.
And I really loved it and enjoyed it. But like I said, if you don't know anyone, or
Yeah.
if your parents or influences in your life are not outdoorsy, then how are you going to have those experiences again?
Because we're both your parents not then. Outdoorsy.
Not really outdoorsy.
No.
No. But I've always like kind of enjoyed the outdoors. And then, and then like I said, then I always kind of like the outdoors. I live quite close to kind of the mountains, but again, and then my first mountain was like Trifan.
Okay.
Which I love. I love scrambling and stuff. Yeah, it's quite good. It's a little bit of a challenge. And I said I've got loads of, hopefully going to push myself out of my comfort zone this year, and going to hopefully go. Yeah, so
amazing.
So to do my mountain leader qualification, I obviously need to be well rehearsed and.
We sound like you got the experience though.
I don't know.
Already.
Well, it's all got. It's believed in yourself, and I think self-doubt creeps in quite a lot. And I feel like, again, that pushing forward,
push through it, don't you?
and thinking, no, you can do this. You have got this. And I feel like that's an internal. I think that's an internal battle that we all have.
Definitely.
And I feel like probably, again, being in the mountains and stuff, and going back to what it's all about is
it's reminding yourself that, isn't it, as well?
It might, that you can do hard, that you can do hard things. And I think that's probably what the mountains are, really, that you do achieve something at the end of it. You achieve something that's quite hard, that not everyone is doing, and then you kind of have a good time, because all you're thinking about is being outside. And
you can't think about anything else, can you? You just
no,
and you in the mountains,
and that's what I really like about going off in a camper van. And like I said, I think probably work hard and so quite focused and driven, and then the other side is that you're in your camper van and you're just immersed in like the scenery and things, and it's a huge contrast, isn't it, really?
It's amazing though, because like your work with vision support and now Wild and Free with SJ, like they're two very different things, but at the same time they kind of compromise each other.
I
So
think
it's
so, yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, and I think, you know, although we're talking here, so I don't know, I've, you know, been quite positive and I've kind of shared some of those struggles. I think, yeah, like you have to be quite a motivated person
Yeah.
to work within the charity sector, and especially within that sort of the fundraising side of things, because you do get told no a lot,
Yeah.
or not no a lot, but you know, unfortunately, some people aren't in a position where they can support you, and that's fine, you know. And I
Some would
think,
crumble at that though as well.
yeah, and
So
I think that's it, and I think that's where it's been really
it's good to be strong-minded.
but then also having the support of others.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can go internally and think, oh, that isn't working, and all these different things. You can only be reflective by talking to other people who share the same similar experiences. And I've had a lot of support from other fundraisers, particularly in the sight loss sector. And I feel that's really helped me as well, because you're able to talk through your challenges together, because not every day is a win. A lot of stuff doesn't work out. A lot of time is wasted. A lot of it does lead to nothing. And that can be quite overwhelming, and it can be quite disheartening. So being able to share those experiences, it kind of, it makes it better.
Yeah.
And I always know, or I see everything as, I've done everything that I can. So if it doesn't work out, it's not meant to be. And I feel like it's really important. And I think you can take that outside the charity sector and everything that you do as well. Think that, you know, that, yeah, like sometimes stuff doesn't work out, but something better's coming. And you've really got to have that positive mindset.
Well, definitely, yeah.
Um,
So is there anything else you want to say about the charity or about your business?
So I would just like to say that, yeah, as we celebrate 150 years of Vision Support, if there is anyone that is looking to support a local charity, we would love for you to get in touch with myself or, you know, through Vision Support. And we're starting, so there's two things. So there's Club 150, which is a fundraising opportunity, like I said. And if there is something that someone wants to do, I will help you do it. I mean, and this is the creative side of things. You know, this is it. Like I get access to overseas challenges, which include kind of runs, kind of cycling challenges. I also yeah, like, do you know what I mean? Like, if there is something that's a little bit extraordinary that you want to do as a charity, we get access to those things because it is something a little bit different, and I can help people. I can help people as much as they can help me.
It's amazing that though, isn't it?
And so yeah, I feel like if there is something that someone's looking at wanting to do and to challenge themselves, they're looking to support a local charity, then it would be great to have Vision Support. Also, as well, we've not really touched on this, but a way that people, so that's kind of, you know, the community-based fundraising. There is also, we're doing the 1876 collective. So Vision Support started in 1876.
Okay.
And to celebrate that, we are launching an initiative where businesses can come along and support us as a charity, and they can do that. We've got some tiers, and that they would pledge to give, depending on what tier they go into, they can pledge to give some money to Vision Support, and in return they would get, you know, we offer vision awareness training. They would be put onto our website, so there's volunteering opportunities, there's fundraising opportunities, there's team building opportunities. It's very much amazing. There is an opportunity to work with us as a charity that kind of benefits
like collaboration,
business,
isn't it, really?
yeah, and that, you know, corporate social responsibility, you know, and being able to, you know, businesses do sometimes now have to be seen to supporting the local community, and we're a local charity, and that's the way that they can get involved. And I feel like we kind of started that because I meet so many people within networking with local businesses, and they're like, well, I can't jump out of a plane, or, you know, or I'm not a runner, so how can I support? And having this incentive should hopefully give people that opportunity to be able to get involved in a very...
Gives them options, doesn't it?
Yeah, and in a very kind of like flexible way. Again, going back to everyone's busy, your job's busy. You know, some people want to support a local charity, but they don't have the time.
Yeah.
And this gives real flexibility in that. And then it also supports them, and like it's kind of building those relationships with local people. So yeah, that's another way that people can get involved. So yeah, 1876 Collective or Club 150 are the two kind of big initiatives that we're running this year. And it would be great for people to get involved with vision support, or in other ways. Like I said, I'm very much open, and we can be quite creative in this. So yeah, if there's something that people are looking to do, let's work together and let's help people as well as helping.
That's so
we're
lovely.
helping the local community. We can help you as well.
Yeah. Well, I'll put that in the descriptions below as well, so people can
Thank you.
access that. And can you announce where people can go and check out your personal business and Vision Support? Have you got any websites and stuff?
Vision Support, we've got a website, we've got a Facebook page, we've got an Instagram page, we've got TikTok, and we've also got LinkedIn, which is a professional space for local businesses if they want to. I'd be happy to also share my contact details in case there's anyone that's listening that wants to get involved.
Yeah.
And then just on the Walk Leader business, which I launched on my birthday. So I have a website, I have a LinkedIn page, a Facebook page, and an Instagram page, which is all really scary, but it's fine. And I launched that on my birthday, which was, well, when you look at this, it was on Thursday. And there's details in there about who I am, why I've started, and then I'm going to start putting some events together as well.
You're a busy woman.
I am, and I feel like sometimes they're like, I get tired just talking to you.
Well, I don't today. I'm really intrigued.
That's what I am. I'm like a little ball of energy, and I like to be busy. I like to help people.
Yeah.
I like to meet people. I like to
That's what life's about.
share experiences with people. And like I said, I can't sit down like this today, but then I know that, I'm going to spend the afternoon on my own. So, there's you do have lots of different energies. But if you're a passionate person, I think that does show.
Yeah, it does.
And if you, like I said, if you like people and stuff, like I said, you can, you just excite. Like it's always exciting me. I love meeting new people. Like I really do.
Well, it's been a pleasure meeting you today and getting to know you more and just finding out about the charity and your business. And
thank you.
I'm wishing you all the best with it. And it'll be interesting to see where you're at with the Wild and Free with SJ Stef as well in say a year's time or something. We'll have to get you back.
No, that would be great. Yeah, thank you. And it is a little kind of side hustle that I'm building. Because I love working for the charity, and as I said, I'm really passionate about that. And the little side hustle is kind of bringing women together. And if there is anyone, like I said, that is looking for kind of outdoor experiences, because it's kind of that outdoor side of things is not just walking as well. I've got some like wild weekenders and a couple of different little things.
Sounds exciting.
Planned. So if you are interested, then like my pages, and there's some really exciting stuff coming up. And life is exciting.
And it sounds really positive.
And I'm excited to see how we get on with this 150. As we celebrate 150 years, we will be having a ball as well to celebrate 150 years. So if there is anyone that's looking to have a good night out, then please come and support us on our charity ball. We've not released dates details yet, but if we would be able to use this space as a platform to share that, I'd really appreciate that.
Definitely,
But it's been really nice to meet you, and thank you so much. Like I said,
thank you.
I've had such fun today, and like I said, I think we get on really well.
Definitely, it's been really interesting.
And you're probably going to buy a campervan now.
I will. I know my other half won't like that.
No, yeah.
So thank you so much for coming on the podcast today, and thank you all so much for watching. And if you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like and subscribe. And thank you so much, Stef.
Thank you. Yeah. I've really enjoyed today. Thank you so much for let me come on and chat about vision support.
Oh, you're welcome.
I really do appreciate these opportunities to be able to talk about a local charity.
Well, thank you. And thank you all. Take care. Bye.